Hello and welcome to the APIMS support series of how-to videos. In this short clip, I'm going to show you how to complete department setup in APIMS. We'll go through each screen in turn, completing them as we go, so you can either watch this video first, then complete setup yourself, or you can put the video on pause now and start doing setup. Then, if you need any help, just move the time bar cursor to the relevant part of the video to watch it. Your setup process begins with a welcome email with a link to APIMS, and you start by creating a password. Please don't use a password you already use for something else, and if your browser offers you the option of setting a random password, please choose that option. First, you're presented with a list of systems that has been started by your APIMS administrator. Please select the ones that are used in your department and add any that are missing. If you click on the Add System button, then click the drop-down arrow, you'll see a list of common systems that you can use as a rough checklist. But don't worry if you don't know all the systems that are used in your department. This list will be completed later on in the setup process. So, as this is the Pastoral and Safeguarding department, we'll add details of the safeguarding system and click Save and Continue. Then we do the same thing with third-party services. Again, there's a drop-down to use as a rough checklist, and any services that you miss will be added later on in the setup process. Over time, APIMS is going to gather more information about these systems and services and the vendors who supply them, and third-party risk management projects will be initiated, but not at this stage. Next, APIMS asks whether certain types of activity are undertaken within your department. Again, just answer to the best of your knowledge. Any errors will be corrected later on. Now, this is where APIMS starts to map your part of the organization. So you're asked to select the processes that are undertaken in your department. As you see, there's only one process in pastoral and safeguarding, but most other departments obviously have more. HR, for example, has 10 or 12. Now, while we're here, I just want to take a moment to explain the APIMS accountability framework. The accountability principle on which the whole of the GDPR is based makes organizations, and that of course means your leadership, responsible for ensuring and being able to demonstrate that all processing activities across the whole organization are compliant with each of the other 6 privacy principles. Now, the problem, of course, is that leaders generally have very little, if any, visibility or control of what data is being collected and used and shared and stored around their organizations. So they're not really in a position to ensure anything, and they certainly can't demonstrate that everything is compliant. So, APIMS makes you, as a head of department, accountable to the board for ensuring compliance within your department. Then it delegates responsibility for compliance in each process to the person who actually manages or operates it. APIMS calls them process coordinators. Now, obviously, they are not GDPR experts, so APIMS automates most of this and provides them with the information and tools they need. You can find out how we do this in the How to Manage Risk and Compliance video later on. So on this screen, you assign responsibility to a process coordinator for each process. If yours is a relatively small organization, you may find you have to assign more than one process, or perhaps all of them, to the same process coordinator. And finally, you just need to let your process coordinators know what's happening and warn them that they're about to receive an email from APIMS asking them to complete process setup. As you see here, we've provided you with their email addresses, a subject line heading, and a draft email. So all you have to do is copy and paste it all into an email, edit if necessary, and send. Once you've done that, you can hit the Send Emails button, and that is the end of department setup, and your process coordinators will all receive those welcome emails. We don't expect you to complete it in the 4 minutes or so that it's taken to go through it here. But as you can see, this is not a time-consuming or complicated task. We'll have a proper look at this dashboard in another video, and meanwhile we recommend that you watch the video on how to complete process setup so you can help your process coordinators and set their expectations. Process setup does take more time than department setup because obviously there's additional detail that needs to be collected. So if you have any questions, please ask your APIMS administrator or email us on support@apims.co.uk. Thank you for listening.